We're live.
Live. All right. So, welcome everybody. I see a couple people here already. So, we
Nice.
have a special guest
Oh,
tonight,
thank you.
Alia Wells. Alia, say it for
Alia. It's Alia. Yeah. No worries.
Alia Wells. Yes, and you have to go check out her YouTube channel if you haven't already. She is just amazing. She's so motivational. I've seen
Oh,
of her videos. And if you're a mom, if you're a parent, it's just she's just so down to earth and just so real, and it's just awesome. Very, very inspirational. So I am excited to have her on here tonight, and I'm just
thank
gonna
you.
be picking her brain about all of the things. So, so yeah, let's get started here. Um, so
Thank
you
you for
went.
the kind words. I never think that about myself. Is thank you so
Oh
much.
no, you're you, I love your channel. I love your channel so much. So
Thank you.
if you haven't, go subscribe. Go subscribe. You won't be disappointed. So
Oh,
about 6 months ago, you decided to go carnivore,
yes. It was
and
more. It's almost 7 months now. October 1st is like 7 months. Yeah.
okay, and it's crazy because it's like you can watch your transformation on your channel from the beginning, like the first day, all the way through till now. It's just like you're watching yourself just change. Like it's a crazy transformation. But I saw that the what initially brought you to the decision to go carnivore was because you went and visited a liposuction doctor, and then
Oh,
she was
okay. No, all right. So,
okay.
no, that was just a funny story that I remembered. So, my
Okay.
husband's cousin works for what is it called? A plastic surgeon, and it also happens to be her fiance or boyfriend. They've been together for years, but she works for him. So, Christmas or New Year's, I think it was New Year's Day. I'm like, Jessica, how much would it cost for me to get liposuction
Uh-huh.
with her boyfriend, thinking I would get a good discount because I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
so fed up with how big I was. And
yeah.
she's like, she went on her phone. She's like, how much do you weigh? What's your height? Blah, blah, blah. You're too fat for liposuction, essentially, was
Oh,
the outcome. You weigh too much. So it's dangerous for you to get liposuction. So why don't we do bariatric surgery or you could do bariatric surgery? I'm like, And she's like, you would need to lose X amount of weight. I think she said like 20 kilos, maybe like 40 pounds. And I'm like, if I can lose 40 pounds myself or 20 pounds, whatever the requirement was, I can keep doing it. So I'm going to figure this out myself.
great. Yeah, that's amazing. So that was like that situation. That was like so just I don't know, discouraging to you at that moment.
Yeah.
Actually, it prompted you to just be like, I gotta like take the bull by the horns and just do this thing.
Yes. And not totally yet. Not totally yet, but yes, that was one of the things like for years, I'm like, how do I figure this out? How do I resolve this? Because I gained 80 pounds with my first baby by eating
Yeah.
terribly. I quit smoking, which I was doing for like 17 years, I think. And so I replaced that move the day I saw I was pregnant. I quit smoking, or maybe it
Okay.
was like the last cigarette, right? And
Right.
I don't promote smoking. Don't do it. It was a terrible habit to get into. But so I replaced the movement of this with food in my mouth. And you're
Yes.
feeding for two, and it's not true. It's not true.
Yep.
So then, but in that pregnancy, I like got very fat and then destroyed my thyroid. So for years, for like 7 years, my son's 7, I've been trying very upset about my weight, and it's been up and down, and but I never got it back to where I wanted it. So I was thinking it was more like a joke. I was asking her, but if about it on New Year's,
Okay.
but sort of like after that, I was like, oh, I'd already been researching Dr. Barry, by the way, before that conversation. But one day I was like, enough is enough. March 1st, I got to do this. And so I just did. I don't know why I decided March 1st and not just the day that I decided. I don't know why I put it off, but March 1st was the day. But it was
That's
funny that I was too fat for liposuction.
yeah. Well, it's just funny what brings you to carnivore. Like everybody has their own moment, or moments that they just come to and they're just like, okay, this is it. That was the last straw. I got to do
Yeah.
something. And then, everybody has it's something different. But so you were saying that your reasoning was that you wanted to be a better mom too. You wanted to lose weight.
Yeah.
your initial video, you just said, I can't do my job as a mom to the best of my ability anymore because I'm
Right.
having these PI issues and I want to be like the best mom that I can be to my kids. And
Right.
I totally like resonate with you with that because, you know, my first baby, I gained 60 pounds.
Oh,
I had no
wow.
idea. I was working full time. I was just treating myself to everything, you know. I mean, I was
Yes.
I just, you know, so I would get breakfast out and lunch McDonald's and, you know, Dunkin' Donuts
Mhm.
breakfast, McDonald's lunch,
Yes.
bagels in between, whatever, and then grabbing something for dinner, usually Chinese food. And I got so big and so unhealthy. And then we had 3 babies in a row. And then
Wow.
I had no idea about health or nutrition or anything like that. So it was just a really big learning curve for me. And then we kind of got into whole foods. We got rid of all the prepackaged stuff and all of that. And little by little over time, we just like tried different things. But it was always a struggle. Like it was
Mhm.
always just really, really hard. I would joke that I could just smell food and get fat. Like literally, I feel like I could. Like
I
if
can't
I would,
believe you would say that because I would say I would look at food and get fat.
yes, I would feel it. Like I could feel it in my legs, like just looking at the bread, you know? So anyway, so I totally get all of that. And then so how did you do carnivore? How did you get started? Did you just jump right in cold turkey or grad?
Yeah, sort of. Because for years on and off, I was trying to do some sort of ketogenic diet. So I guess I was a little bit prepared. I was even trying to do ketovore sort of stuff before Christmas, inspired by Nisha and Dr. Barry. Um, but I fell off hard at Christmas or right after Christmas. And then
Sure.
in Colombia, New Year's and Christmas is lots of drinking. And I don't usually like drinking, but I got really into it at Christmas, New
Okay.
Year's.
Yeah.
So and then the following day was the conversation with my husband's cousin. Anyways, so yeah, if you consider, yeah, I jumped in both feet at
Okay.
that point, but I've been practicing for 6 years trying to eat healthy.
Right, right. Okay. Yes, that's kind of like us too. Because I mean, we had gone from whole foods to like plant based really heavily because I had a cancer scare 5 years ago. So I went like
Oh wow.
crazy plant based, juicing like 3 times a day and doing all this crazy stuff to heal my thyroid. I thought I had thyroid cancer,
Mm,
um, which they confirmed that it wasn't, but it was still like huge, like big goiters in my throat, and it could turn to cancer any moment. So we were like real serious about that. And then I guess just emotionally because it seemed like, you know, the goiters had gone down and everything like that. Like I just really believed in plant-based. Like I was really, really sure
mm,
like this is the healthiest way to be, even though I was still gaining weight, you know, and I
mhm.
was like really struggling and I was so exhausted. I didn't feel good. I couldn't be a good mom to the level that I wanted to be, you know, like I mean, we had 3 more babies down here. We have 3 and then a 7 year gap and then 3 more. And my
Wow.
last 3 was I was 41 when I had my last one. And my thyroid was messed up, my hormones were messed up, I was overweight. And I would buy like these pre-made little bars that were like healthy, like 3 ingredient bars, and I would just give them for breakfast. I had no energy to do anything, like beyond no energy. I would just say my phrase was like, "I'm beyond exhausted." That's, I mean, I would just say, "I'm beyond exhausted," and
Right.
I told my grandfather at one point, I'm like, I just feel like an old person. Like I go out on the back deck and I don't even have energy to like walk or go do anything. I'm just like, I'm done, you know? And
Yeah.
that was eating whole foods, plant based, you know, not processed anything. It just wasn't working for me. But yeah, I was afraid to do the meat because I knew if I ate more meat, then I would gain more weight because, you know, and the carbs is like
Right.
way too much for me. So yeah, so eventually we just came to it. It's been a little over 100 days ago now. And I was just
That's
like, you know
awesome.
what? we've tried everything else. Like I've been struggling and struggling. My husband's been struggling with all kinds of arthritis and all kinds of issues. And he was just, I mean, no quality of life, you know, and we're in our 40s. And I'm like, you know, we got young kids. Like this is horrible. And so I'm like, let's try it. We have nothing to lose. Like, let's just try it. And so we kind of jumped in cold turkey too. And it's been great. Like it's surprising. Like all the new things
so that surprising. It's crazy. It's crazy. I want to say you totally don't look like you should be in your 40s. You look like like 30 something or younger. But I know you have like a son that's at least 18. So
yes. We've been married 24 years. We just celebrated our 24th. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. So what is it like to be carnivore in Colombia? Like
I think it's easy. It's so easy.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
Yeah, we just go to the butcher shop. We have a couple different butchers we go to now. My husband, I don't think he would identify as carnivore, but he's eaten a lot of meat and he's done all the research. He knows all the cuts and he knows how to find it. But he's learned all this stuff for us and for me, more for me than so I could heal my body as I've been going. Yeah, no, it's so easy. Butcher shops, we got 3 of them we like. It's so simple.
Yes, and you have a video. I was watching your video
when
you were
to find 3.
Yes, you did your meat haul at the end of all your. It was hysterical because some of the cuts were just like, it's like beef. I don't know. I forget the name. It was like a bag of beef. Like they didn't even have a specific name for some of them. That's awesome.
It's very funny. It's very funny. So we do have somebody that knows what the cuts are now. And I should have done a video a couple weeks ago. We literally had like 13 pounds of like one big 13-pound piece of beef.
Yeah.
So next time we do that, I'll do a video because it looks hilarious.
That's awesome. And here we just realized that we can get brisket. Now I don't know what it would be called down there, but I mean, we can get like 20-pound slabs of brisket for really cheap, like $4.
Wow.
Yeah. And you can cut them up into like 3 hunks and make a roast out of them, like in a crock pot or Instapot. So they're super fatty. That is like a definite like family saver when it comes to. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So what else do I hear? I got so many questions. So I'm just going to.
Wow.
So did you join a support group when you started Carnivore?
I joined YouTube and it became my support group.
Yeah, same. Yeah. So you just binge watch all kinds of videos and yes.
I watched so many videos now. I've gone down the carnivore rabbit hole and then I just started I just reach out to people and see if they want to talk to me, and it helps me also to just like be a part of this community.
Yeah.
On YouTube. It's so funny. Who would have thought?
I know. It's so weird. This year, I haven't officially joined a support group, but in the early days, like for the first couple months, I was on YouTube like every single day, listening, had my earbuds in. I just needed to hear it over and over and over and try to understand what I was doing. So that way I wouldn't doubt either, because I don't know about you, but like I'll be all into something and then I'll hit a bump and then I'll be like, what am I doing? This is stupid. This is too extreme. I need to like rethink this whole thing, you know? And so I knew that those bumps in the road would come, and I wanted to kind of like mentally like have my head in the game, you know, be educated with it. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I totally get that, because I could never stick to anything else. And I've only been able to stick to this, but I think also the community doing my channel, it like one of the purposes of my channel is to force me to stick to it.
That's funny. I have a friend who's doing carnivore. She's done it for a year now. And I told her like the other day, I was drinking my coffee with my tallow in it, you know, and I'm like, you know, and we're just hormonal because we're women, right? So I'm just like, I don't know. This doesn't really taste as good as my normal coffee. You know what I mean? Like just kind of have a pity party for myself in my mind. And like, I don't know. Maybe I just like my regular coffee better, just like, I don't know. You have those moments of doubts, even though you see all these wins, right?
Mhm.
Like mentally and physically and like all the things, your energy, but then you
Yeah.
still have these moments where your mind is so strong. I don't know, mine anyway, where I'm just like, man, I do wish I could have some pumpkin bread or something. Like, I don't know. I can still think about it. Not that I crave it. That's
Right.
gone.
Yeah.
But just the mental, like, I don't know. So it's good to have a friend and a support group.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky that my husband is supporting me. I know some people don't have that same support. And my kids are of the age where we're still able to like educate them. Like they're not perfect carnivores, but they are so much better than 99% of what we feed our kids in general. Right. But my husband is like my number one supporter, like here. And he's always tried to help me lose weight because not for him. He doesn't care if I was 220 pounds or 150 pounds, like when he met me. And I love him for that. I mean, I love him for many reasons, but never pushing on me, hey, you need to lose weight, but always just being a support. So he's been my support group during this journey, my local support group.
That's so cool. Okay. So who is your favorite carnivore doctor to listen to?
Man, shoot. I love Dr. Barry, but I've listened to so much Dr. Chafee. He's so easy to listen to.
Yes.
His voice is so easy to listen to.
It's just so laid back. Yeah. I say the same.
Yeah. But Dr. Barry, I wouldn't have ever started carnivore if I just heard Dr. Chafee talking because he's like meat, salt, water. That would have never worked. I would have been like, okay, no. But how Dr. Barry explains it in various videos, it makes it a lot more confrontable and easier to eat this way.
Yeah. And he's just very, just realistic with people, I think, of just like, hey, if you got to keep that, but do your beef, butter, bacon, and eggs and just start where you're at,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for sure, I've learned so much from, I say that Dr. Barry and Dr. Chafee are the two people, but if I would have listened to it the other way around, I don't know if I would have ever started.
Right. Sure. Yeah, and there's lots of other ones too, but I can't remember all their names. There's so many carnivore doctors out there that I mean, to Dr. Kiltz and a bunch of them. And I mean,
awesome.
Just love all of them. They all have their specific, viewpoints and their audiences. And it's like, more focused on cancer or like, the Dr. Bray, the woman's doctor from Italy.
Right.
Yes. I love her for all her women's stuff. So yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, exactly. Because of Dr. Bright and Dr. Barry, but more Dr. Bright, I have some iodine right here.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Yeah.
It's at my desk. So I remember to take it.
How do you take your iodine?
I usually just, when I remember, put it in like a bottle of water. I know it's plastic. Don't hate me, but it's water. And so I just put some in here.
Okay. I just put my iodine in my coffee in the morning.
Oh, okay. So, I like the flavor of it. It's so weird. So that's why I don't put it in my coffee, because I like the flavor of my coffee and I like the flavor of the iodine.
Oh, okay. Well, that works.
Yeah.
So do you do electrolytes too?
Yeah. So I wasn't doing them for a long time because it was hard to find any that didn't have, like, where I am in Colombia, maltodextrin. And we found one brand, it has stevia. So I've been taking that. I got to do the best I can. That's why I like Dr. Barry. You got to do the best you can. I noticed that taking it, I want to drink a lot of it because it has stevia. So that's kind of bad, but I don't have leg cramps anymore.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm thinking of getting rid of that if I can find just some other just electrolytes.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. We did the Relight. We can get that on Amazon. And it's flavored. We do the flavored ones because I have kids too. And anything that made this exciting, like the change, so having all the flavored Relight was like, here, you can have strawberry lemonade or whatever. They were like, carnivore thing, just you have to look for the wins.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was drinking so much carbonated water, like to replace not eating all those other things. At least the fizziness gave me something. And then last week it was making me feel really bad. So
Yeah.
no more carbonated water for a while.
Yeah. It's funny. It does kind of go in seasons with things, I think. Okay. So you were mentioning that you didn't struggle with diarrhea when you switched to carnivore. You have some videos of this. An anomaly, right? Because a lot of people do.
Because I've had IBS sort of symptoms for years, and diarrhea was like a common part of my life. Like bouts of diarrhea, terrible diarrhea, a little bit of diarrhea, one day diarrhea, then the next poop is normal. So I'm a mom. I have no problem talking about poop.
Yes.
But last Thanksgiving, we went on vacation. It was like my first vacation in years. That morning, the night before my stomach started acting up, I was like, oh no. And then that morning I woke up and my back was tweaked. So I took an Advil or some painkiller. And between the Advil and whatever was already happening, I had my entire vacation was diarrhea. Like, so I'm just explaining this because when I started eating this way, it was like my stomach and my digestive system was like, thank you. Thank you. And it switched. I think I had 1 or 2 times diarrhea from taking too much magnesium or something, but I didn't have the carnivore diarrhea. So yeah, that's crazy. But excuse me, I think if you come from years of digestive issues and you just eat the things that are going to heal your body, your stomach's like, thanks.
Yeah.
Or if I did have it, it would just been like probably getting more closer to normal, but I didn't. It was crazy.
Yeah. And you were saying that you use some hydrochloric acid too a
little bit.
Oh yeah, I still do that. If my stomach feels off, I'll take that, but I think I need it less and less now. The story behind the hydrochloric acid is my daughter years ago. She had terrible constipation for years, and we emergency rooms, all sorts of things. And then the doctors wanted to give her like surgery, like remove part of her colon or something in her colon. So it was like years of medications. I think years. It was a long time on medications. So one day my husband starts researching Dr. Berg. We're already following Dr. Berg. And he mentioned like you need, for your digestive system to work, you need hydrochloric acid. So imagine giving a 2-year-old, making them take a pill. A capsule, because you can't chew it. It's going to burn your mouth. So, so we taught her to take it, and magically she could poop. It was like so quickly after that, it just handled her digestive system. So, but years of like problems, can't poop. She would go like sometimes 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks without pooping.
Wow. Yeah. So many kids suffer from all of those different things. I mean, our diet is just so messed up.
It's so messed up.
Yeah.
Totally. So, but that's the story. So we just always have that in the house. And if I was feeling like weird eating at the beginning of carnivore, I would take that. And I think that would mitigate any possibility of digestive problems. Because also I think we've destroyed our stomachs by eating so badly.
Yeah.
Like destroyed the normal function of the stomach acid. And I've asked Dr. Chafee like about this before in the live stream. I even asked him, and he says it can change. It's hard to change it, but I think even slightly, if we're just eating a plant-based diet, it like lessens the stomach acid. And if you're on a standard American diet or a Western type diet, you're still eating plant-based. It's just worse. It's just worse.
Plant-based, yeah. Yeah. So I had kind of the opposite effect for me. So I didn't have the diarrhea at all with the switching to carnivore, but I had from like the whole foods plant-based going like every day to like not. And I was like freaked out. I was like calling my carnivore friend, and she just ate like more standard American diet and then went to carnivore. So she did the opposite. And I don't understand. I was like, I haven't gone in like a week. Like I'm freaking out, so I'm looking up like Dr. Barry, like constipation videos and like everything, but I just took some time for my body to switch over, and it just did. Like eventually it just naturally just switched over. And my friend was just like, even if you just don't go for like 5 days, it's okay. Like just embrace the, like, your body's just changing and handling But it was so weird because
Sure.
it's just a big change, you know?
Right.
So yeah, so
Actually, I drink coffee and I live in Colombia and the coffee's fantastic here. So I don't know what would happen. Maybe I would experience that 5 days of no pooping if I stopped drinking coffee.
that's true. Yeah, and I kept my coffee too. I was happy with the one video, I think, when you were out looking for steak and then you stopped at the mall and you were drinking your coffee. And I'm like, oh, good. She's a coffee carnivore. She's my kind of girl. Okay.
Everyone needs to go see Dr. Baker has a video about coffee, and he says drink it or stop after 4 months. But he just says he's not a coffee drinker, but he has a video about coffee. So go watch it so everyone can just settle down.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I use it as a way to get my extra fat in. I take my tallow. I know a lot of people do butter, but I take my tallow and I take a big scoop and put it in my coffee and blends it up. So
wow.
I was just doing one big thing of coffee in the morning without any sweeteners or anything in it. But then in the afternoon, I'll do another one and take another big scoop of tallow. So it's like my cheat. It's my way to get more fat, you know.
Okay, nice.
Fat. That's my excuse anyway.
We can all come up with our excuses.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So you have a day 45 video and you talk about all your non-scale victories. Like you talk about you're just generally happier and you just have like new goals now of just how good can I feel?
Yeah.
How great can my mental health be? How great can I get at handling stress and all of that? So can you tell us about that a little bit?
Sure. If you know me growing up, I'm like a spaz. So imagine a spaz that's worried. It's even worse. Like, I don't think being a spaz is bad, but being a worried spaz is very bad. I was talking about this last night. I just generally feel a lot calmer. And I don't know. I don't know if I had that mental fog. People talk a lot about the mental fog, but I do feel I can focus a little bit better at work. At work, I have to be very focused because I research real estate and you can't screw that up. You have to be very specific in finding the information. And that seems a little bit easier. It just seems like stuff is easier to deal with when you're not worried all the time. And I think if your body's running on glucose and your brain is not running on fat, you're going to be like, you get what I'm saying? Like spiritually or mentally. And also my sleep changed. And I think we underestimate sleep as an important factor in mental health. And I know we talk about the carnivore diet, but by eating good, I was finally able to get better sleep. And even a couple of days ago, we're talking about I should start going to sleep earlier again, which is why I'm glad we did this at 6, because when I started the carnivore diet, I was actually falling asleep with my kids at 8 o'clock and sleeping until like 6. And I was feeling so great, like so different. Just even getting your body, I think, on the proper circadian rhythm is super important. And we, in this day and age, we neglect these things. We even now, I just got back into it. I got to work on my YouTube channel. I only have time after the kids go to bed, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's not the priority, actually. The priority is me, number one. I'm not the priority, but me being the best I can be so I can be the best for my kids is more the priority, and being calm and not freaked out all the time about needless, stupid stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So I just think like proper sleep, proper nutrition, and you're going to be the best that you can be. And you gotta like ignore everything else so that you can work on you, so that you can be better for your community, your village, your family, whatever you want to call it. I hope I answered your question.
No, I agree 100%. And it's like, it's just fascinating that like, it's not what you started for, right?
Yeah.
But like all of these things just start to just unravel. It's like peeling off an onion, you know, and it's just like, wow, you know, now I'm feeling better. Wow. Now I'm more balanced, you know, and even my husband's like, you know, you're just like not like spazzing anymore. Like,
yeah.
It's just like, you're just more level, you know, like even when a stressful situation comes, it's like, okay, and I can handle it. You know what I mean? Maybe it, you know, there's some level of stress. We're still human, but it's not just unmanageable anymore. And I don't know if that has to do with the hormones too.
I think so.
You know, it's just,
I think it does for sure.
Yeah. You're right. It's like the sleep, the hormones, the fat in your brain. I don't know. It just
I don't know. I think my belief is that you're not your body, but you have a body. I'm very much like you are a spiritual being living in a human existence, right? But if you don't treat that body correctly, it's like your car. You're filling it full of the wrong fuel, it's going to break down and die fast. But and it's not in your brain isn't going to function properly if that's the engine that runs the car. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and you're not feeding it the right fuel, of course you're going to feel like crazy all the time. Maybe not crazy, whatever you psychopathic crazy, but you're going to not feel normal.
Just steady.
Steady. My mom a couple of years ago was telling somebody, Ollie is like the most cheerful person I ever knew, or I know, or something like that. And my mom is very cute. She's probably the most cheerful, happiest person ever. But I remember when she said that about me, I was thinking, no, I'm not. And then I'm like, wait, I used to be. Why am I not like that anymore? And why am I so pessimistic right now? I didn't have all those thoughts. This is me thinking about this conversation multiple times. And so in that one video, I think it was that video, like, I'm happy. I would never say that I was depressed, but I'm happy that I feel happy like I used to feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And when you said that, I'm like, that makes a lot of sense, because it's like, why? I'm not miserable, but why is it just like your joy is kind of stolen? Like you just, I don't know. Is it like adulthood, or is it like being in your 40s? Like, why am I just so like not generally happy? Yeah, it's not who I was. So yeah, that's awesome.
I think I just want to say one more thing. I think sugar has a big deal to it. And all these carbohydrates, apparently, from everything I've learned from these doctors, turns into sugar. And sugar is an addictive drug. And if we were taking heroin, we're going to feel like miserable. You're going to feel high, and then you're going to feel miserable, and then you're going to want your next hit. This is the same with sugar. It's just in a different form. And it's legal. It's not illegal. It's everywhere. It's in everything. Or high fructose corn syrup. And it's just, we're constantly putting this drug into our body. Of course, you're going to feel terrible. I can only see that now that I haven't had that in months. I had honey a couple weeks ago. I was like, my brain went on fire. It was like a test. My brain was on fire, electrified. And then within minutes, felt terrible. 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
For hours. Yeah. I felt horrible. So that was just like a microcosm of what this stuff does to you. Or what, you know what I'm saying? Like in 3 minutes, what this stuff will do to you when you've been off of it. And that's honey, not even sugar itself.
It's crazy. And I just remember like my first 3 kids, like I was the mom with like the perpetual cup of coffee in my hand. Late to every homeschool event that was going on. I couldn't ever have the energy to like organize anything or, do that. Like I was just happy if we could show up, and I couldn't even commit to anything. And I would just have my cup of coffee, and I was just like glad that we were there. I had no energy. That was back in my 20s.
Wow.
So that's how it's been for so long. Like we would joke, like my girlfriend who went carnivore, she lost over 100 pounds, and she, we were just like sloth was our spirit animal. I don't believe in animals, like that was it. Like I would like out of bed. It would take me from morning until noon or 1 o'clock to like wake up, and I'd have however many cups of coffee, try to fold some laundry, do something, like just no energy, just have to force yourself through all of it.
Oh man. Yeah.
So
it's funny, we have to talk about this so that we can remember how bad it was. We have to keep reminding ourselves, and that we don't have to do that again.
And to like help other moms or other young moms who, when you're a new mom and you just have a baby and maybe you're starting out and you're like, well, maybe this is just how it is. I'm just not going to have any energy, and it's like, no, feed your body, like eat eat a lot of meat, even when I wasn't eating nearly enough meat, and I wasn't a meat eater ever. So it was real easy for me to not, and it's just crazy the difference that, your energy level. So,
totally.
So talking about carnivore, how it's impacted your mom life, like just meal prep. You said your kids are like meat based, like how about your outside activity time? Like, are you spending more time outside with
Oh
them?
yeah. So I mean, I don't have I haven't have a timer, but let's just say before I would prefer to just sit on the couch and watch movies because I was like, I would all of my attention or my energy I would spend for my work because you have to work, you have to make the money. You know what I mean? So when I would get done, I would be happy to like go from right where I'm sitting to 4 feet away and go watch movies all day. Like, and then within days, I was like, oh no, we need to do something else. Let's go to the park. We have a park. You just go down the elevator and like cross like a little piece of parking lot and we're at a park or the pool. So the pool has unfortunately been closed for a couple weeks now, but we were going to the pool a lot more. We're at the park a lot more. And I like that I can spend that quality time, not just sitting in front of the TV or
Yes.
we're painting or we're doing something else. I will say, and don't judge me, my kids speak Spanish. They do speak English also, but they're learning to read in Spanish. So I don't read to them because my pronunciation is bad and I don't want to, I will read to them soon enough in English, but they're doing Spanish right now. So my husband was reading my daughter a story yesterday. That's one thing I want to start doing, but I'm just saying we're doing so many better things. My kids do want me to sit down and watch a movie with them sometimes, and I will. And but it's not like that's what we do.
Right.
Saturdays are generally the kids' day. It's or the day we all go outside and they're like we go to like a Chuck E. Cheese place. We never order pizza, but they get to play in the play place. Or we go and do stuff outside. A couple weeks ago, we went swimming at a different pool. Anyways, yes, I'm going to say Saturday's always been that way. Even if I felt bad, we always went outside Saturdays. But just the fact that after work, I'm willing to go. I want to go do stuff with the kids. Today we were playing with Legos. I said, I'm going to be busy in a couple hours. Do you want to do Legos now or what do you want to do? Or I didn't even say that. I just brought the Legos out. Sit down. Let's do the Legos.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Yeah, I noticed a huge difference too. I mean, just in the amount of stuff that I can get done during the day. And, at the end of the night, I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to go, take a little walk around the pond or something, or I'm going to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
We live on a farm and we have a pony out there, and I would never ever, it's sad, but like go saddle up the pony. And they would ask all the time. I just didn't have the energy to do it. Like it was just so, it's just encumbering just to think of having to go out there to the barn, get the saddle, get the pony, saddle it up. I was just like, I can't, like, and now, it's happening more and more often, during the week, once or twice a week. I'm like, let's go saddle up the pony, let's go, and it's just, crazy. I have the energy to do it,
Right. I feel the same way. Oh my God. I'd be like, oh my God, we have the pool outside, but then I have to put their stuff on. I got to put the sunblock on. I got to like, not fight with them, but like, hey guys, move a little bit faster here. And I understand that so much. And that totally changed afterwards. Still, it's like, okay, let's get your stuff on a little bit faster, people. But still, I don't have that thing in my mind, like how much effort is it going to take to just go to the pool?
Right. I think it so much impacts everything. And I just think about that, like how much, me having energy as a mom and just feeling good about yourself as a mom and taking care of yourself, how implications that's going to have on our kids long term. I mean, they're going to see a mom that has a smile on their face, a mom that's not just sitting on the couch when she has downtime. Like it's just,
exactly.
Like we have no idea what that's going to do for them,
Right. Yeah, exactly. I agree completely.
So, okay, let's see. Have you noticed any differences in your kids switching them over to more meat-based?
So this is funny. I think that they've shot up a lot, like their bodies have gotten bigger, but you could also say, well, they're just growing. So I don't have any way to measure that because I don't know what it would have looked like if we kept eating how we were eating. But no, they just seem a lot taller really fast. Like they've grown a lot in the last months. But I will say, so Jacob's birthday was on the 28th of August. So he had his birthday party. And we didn't have a cake, but we did have like a chocolate fountain thing where we're putting fruit into the chocolate fountain. And we had some ice cream. So we had that party. And then the next day was a neighbor's birthday party. So we had 2 birthday parties, one right after the other. And the aftermath of all the sugar, I could definitely tell the difference. Like, not because I didn't eat that stuff, but they ate that stuff and I could tell the difference. But they do sometimes, like if they go, so here in the house, we basically don't have any carbohydrates. We do have rice. My husband made some a couple days ago, and I think we threw most of it away. Like sometimes they'll ask for rice. Sometimes they'll ask for spaghetti. We don't have any anymore. Sorry, we don't have any. I'll make you spaghetti out of eggs now. I learned how to make.
They're little. It's so easy when they're little. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to fight with it. But I don't want them to have this weird idea that we force them to only eat meat. Right. So we're educating them about what sugar is, how in a way they can understand. We do have fruit. They can eat fruit whenever they want. Yeah. Bananas and apples. But like if you look at our fridge, well, right now it's just I think there's eggs and there's pork belly in there, but usually it's like eggs, pork belly, meat. Maybe there's some like 0 sugar Greek yogurt, butter. Like this is the stuff we have in the house. But if we go outside and they ask for ice cream, we don't say no.
Right.
We don't say no because we want them to not be when they're old enough to make their own decisions. We don't want them to go the opposite because their parents had them on this really weird diet.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Same. But like, yeah, exactly. That's great. Today they ate like eggs, I think chicken, maybe some meat. I don't know. And bacon. They love bacon. If we just had bacon all day, they would be so happy.
Bacon's always yes. I love the idea of the chocolate fountain with the fruit for birthday. Yeah. I'm gonna have to take you up on that one. Yeah. We've been doing ice cream party birthdays since we went because I'm like, what can we do? I don't really want to do the cake thing, because it's just tempting for me and my husband too. So it's like we're really in on it. So I'm like, okay, if we can find like a cleaner ice cream, do the best we can with where we're at.
Yeah, exactly.
The Dr. Kilt's ice cream.
So good. So good.
Yeah. So that's great. I always have that on hand in the freezer, and I load it with eggs. So to me, it's like in the summertime, it's hot. If they want to have ice cream, once or twice a day, I just look at it like they're eating more eggs. So
yeah,
I can't do that all day long, but they could do that. And
yeah, exactly.
So what else was I going to say? Oh, and your pizza recipe. I watched you do your pizza the other day. And I had an idea. So if you haven't seen it, you got to go check out how Aaliyah makes her pizza for her kids. But I watched Dr. Barry's wife, Nisha. She did these little mozzarella, like she just took a glob of mozzarella and she has it on parchment paper. And she put little globs of mozzarella all over the parchment paper. I think she calls them mozzarella crisp. I can't remember. But I was thinking, if you just took the mozzarella cheese and did little globs like that, and then just put your pepperoni on it, and it would crisp up, that would be a great little treat, like a pizza treat,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I might do that one night.
You should try it.
But yeah.
I have to have little cheese in the house because I will eat all of it. If I had a pound of cheese, I will eat all of it.
Right. Yeah.
If they ask for pizza, I will buy the stuff and make it for them, but we'll eat all the cheese in like one sitting. Maybe me.
Yes. Yeah. So, okay. So do you have any other well, you said some of the things that y'all eat. Oh, one thing that my carnivore girlfriend told me about, and it's been great, is a waffle maker. Okay. And you make these carnivore waffles. So it's just scrambled eggs, and we put a little cinnamon and vanilla in there. And then you put a half a teaspoon of baking powder in it and, mix it in with the scrambled egg, put it in the waffle maker, and it makes a waffle.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's so awesome. So my little kids, they make waffles. My husband says all day long. It seems like all day long. But just at any given random hour of the day, they'll be like, can I make a waffle? I'm like, sure. I mean, it's just eggs, Yeah. And they'll take a little honey and put a little honey on it. And even one night we went crazy and we did the Dr. Kilt's ice cream on top of the waffles.
Oh, wow.
little bit of blueberries, like frozen blueberries on there and drizzled it with, I didn't have it, but my husband had some and he said it was like awesome. It's like a good dessert, you know?
That sounds amazing. That does sound amazing.
Yes. Waffle maker is a win for the kids. That's been really cool.
I'll have to get one. What we did was meringue. The night that I tried honey, it was meringue. It was like egg whites with a little bit of salt and a little bit of honey, but maybe it was too much honey. But they love that. And then you put it in the freezer and it makes like a whippy cream sort of thing. I don't know how you are on egg whites, but yeah, that's a kid sort of thing that I will never eat again, but they loved it.
I was watching Dr. Lisa Wiedemann, and she was saying a recipe that you take ricotta cheese or cottage cheese, and then you could add a scoop of, I forget the name of the powder. It's like some kind of carnivore powder, protein powder to it, but it's like flavored basically. I mean, you could add a flavoring if you wanted to, and then a little bit of like just drops, like little oh, my brain, I'm thinking the drops.
It's okay.
What are they called? Like the sweet leaf, the stevia drops.
Flavored. Okay.
And you blend it up. So you have the ricotta cheese or the cottage cheese, and then, you know, flavor it with something, blend it up, and then freeze that in little cups. And she said that's a great snack for kids too. So that's kind of
a good idea. Yeah. I love that there's so many great ideas. So one last thing, if you caught at the end of the video, is that my husband came up with the whole idea of pork belly blended was grinded up was my husband's idea. And I looked at him like, yeah, that's not a good idea, but it was.
That's so funny because you were so confident on the video. You were like, this is going to work and this is going to be great. And I'm like, wow, she's like so confident. Like I'm not confident when I'm making like new things. She was like, this is going to be great. And I'm like thinking, see, I should have a better attitude, you know, when I'm trying new things.
That was the first time I made that, by the way. I didn't say that in the video. That was the first time I made it. Because my husband made like the crust. It was like a big nugget. The point is the origination of this was nuggets, fatty nuggets. And if you get pork belly and you grind it up 2 times through a grinder, but you need the skin also. Like you need the skin, the fat, and the meat all grinded up, and it makes these delicious little nuggets.
That's awesome.
They're like crispy on the outside. The kids love it. I love it.
Oh, they were so cute. They were like so wound up about it on the video. I'm like,
the funny thing is the squealing, Brianna. I was trying to get a thumbnail photo. So I'm like, can you act excited? And that's where the squeal came in.
So cute. That's so cute. But yeah, I mean, just talking about, you were saying like what's normal and stuff, you know, I mean, just for us as moms, like in general, you know, if you live in North America, especially, you know, like we've come to accept as normal, you know, just being exhausted, you know, just mom life. And we went last night, we went to a homeschool group we don't usually go to. So it was a new group, and it was just crazy because just to look around, not being judgmental because we've been there. Totally get it. But my husband, and we left, and he's just like, that's just so sad and depressing. Like 3/4 of the parents or more are all overweight. 3/4 of the kids are all significantly overweight. You know, the food that was going on there was like crazy. And then that just, once the kids got into the food, they were just like off the chain. Like the kids were just like wound, like bouncing, running. They were crazy. And there was literally like, out of a group of maybe 50 kids, there was maybe, it was all little boys. They were doing this little car race thing, but maybe 2 boys in that group that were staying at like a socially appropriate level. They weren't just super tweaked, just like,
oh wow,
crazy. I mean, you just saw a lot of like autism spectrum stuff, just
oh man,
crazy stuff. And I'm like, this is normal. Like this is our society now. And these are our kids. Like this is this generation of kids. Like, I don't know. It's just so, it's so sad. It's like what Carrie from Homestead House is like, that's not normal. Like this isn't, you know, I mean,
exactly.
You know, we grew up, kids didn't just, I mean, yeah, they have fun and they get together and they play and stuff, but not just like you know what I'm saying? Just like
Totally.
off the wall. Like, and
Right.
this is, you know, at a church building. And I mean, these
Oh, wow.
people have morals and they, you know, these are like the cream of the crop, you know, in town. And it's just like, wow, you know, this is society today.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's so
I will
sad.
say in Colombia, you don't see that same thing. When the kids, after the chocolate fountain, the ice cream, they were nuts. And all of a sudden, my son, I think he said, and then all the kids were running out. So with some parents, but it was like totally normal. We had a Lego party. We bought a ton of Legos. All the kids were quietly playing with the Legos on the floor. The parents were all talking.
Yeah.
Sugar, totally crazy. Totally
Yeah.
crazy. Time to go to the park. Yeah. It was very funny. Like, what happened here?
Yeah.
But I didn't feel that way because I wasn't eating the chocolate. I went like, so I could be like a little bit like exterior. Like, this is very funny to watch. But the point is, you don't see so many overweight kids here, actually.
Wow.
McDonald's, all of this stuff is not a common thing here. There's one McDonald's in the entire city that I live in. And the US, you're going to see McDonald's, Starbucks, Wendy's, Starbucks, In-N-Out Burger. What do you got? Whataburger up in Texas, down in Texas, you know,
Yeah.
all over the place. So here they eat more like, I think more whole foods, even if it isn't carnivore. There is a ton of carbohydrates, but you don't see the obesity that you see in the United States. And even me in the 90s, I was a fat kid. I loved hot dogs and French fries. And my brothers were big also. My sister wasn't, you know, she ate the same food. But I still wasn't obese like you see obese kids here today, even though I was like known as the fat kid and teased about it in a friendly way. I don't think I took offense to it as a kid, but now I was visiting last year and I was big. I was visiting my uncle he lives in Rockford, Illinois. It's up near Wisconsin. And I went to Walmart, and I don't know if I think the Walmart even was in Wisconsin. I looked around. So I'm big. I'm like 213, 215 pounds. And I look around and think I look either normal or skinny. And this is a problem. This is a problem. One part of my mind is like, oh, look, I'm fine. But one part of my mind is like, no, this isn't good.
Yeah.
This is not normal.
Yeah. Well, because they've tried to normalize being really, really big and make it okay. And most of our family on my side and my husband's side, I mean, it's the same. It's an epidemic. It's everywhere. But it's like you see these young people in their 20s, like our nieces and nephews and different family members, and it's just like they're missing out on like the prime of their life, like the best of their life. And you know they don't feel well, you know, because we've experienced it. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's not just being big is okay. These people are sick. They don't feel good. You know, they might be putting on and they're pushing themselves through and they're making themselves do all the things, but they don't feel good. And there's health, you know, issues coming down the road.
Right. It's funny. I just thought of something when you said that, like in my 20s, what I dreaded was my menstrual cycle. And I talk about that a lot. I think I had endometriosis. And I talk about how carnivore was like the thing that was like, oh my God, this is not common. This is, or not common. This is not normal to experience this pain because, anyways, that was what I dreaded in my 20s, but I wasn't fat. I was maybe chubby or normal size during my 20s and early 30s. But I do recall a time period when I was eating lots of fast food. And then I started really worrying about my weight. I was putting on weight. But I think the sadness or the upset with the weight was more of a mental thing by the poison in the food that we're eating that's so bad for you. Different than just being overweight, because I'm still overweight now. I'm bigger now than I was in my 20s, or maybe probably around the same that I was so worried about my weight. I'm that weight now, but I'm eating the proper human diet as best as I can. And I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I could still lose 50 pounds and be back down to my skinniest I ever was, but I'm not worried about it anymore.
Right. Well, I mean, when you're mentally stable, when everything mentally is working and you're sleeping well and your hormones are balanced out and it affects everything. It affects your marriage. It affects, you know, relationship with your spouse, your relationship with kids, you know, just like I said, just having a mom that smiles more and goes outside once in a while, like that makes a big impact on a kid, you know?
Right.
So
I took some notes actually. I don't know if I want to go on what happened to my notes. I took some notes. I forgot.
Okay.
Maybe this is a good time to interject them. But I was thinking, like, in society right now, as women, because we're being hypnotized by media and propaganda, like, women should, focus on their careers and not focus on having a family until later or not.
Right.
And maybe men need to be weak. And you hear this and it gets pushed. I don't know the reality if that was really a situation, but I do hear it and I see YouTube videos about it. So it kind of concerns me. And and it's all over our TV. Like, women have to be the strong ones. Men need to be the weak idiots. And that doesn't really work. And I think, like, this whole push for feminism is very stupid. Real feminine empowerment is like what we're doing right here, right now. Like, let's help our fellow women realize what, like, our purpose really is. Yes, men need to be strong, but women, we need to back up our men so that they can be strong, so that they can be the father figures to raise our boys, to then be strong and do what they need to do to continue civilization. Like, if as women, we all decided right now, yes, we're going to do our careers, every single last one of us on the planet, until we're 50 years old, and then all of our eggs are dead. Guess what? No more human race.
That's right.
Yeah, that's like, we have a strength that men don't have. We have these babies. Like, we have the task, God-given task, to have babies, to be the caregivers for our families. You need a lot of strength to do that men don't have. Sorry. This is our strength and our beauty that's given to us to create the civilization. Obviously, men are involved, obviously, but we're the ones doing the heavy work on this one. What do you call it? The heavy, the connection between the mom and the child is so important. And I think social media, propaganda, TV, everything is being pushed the other way. And I think if we really want to empower women, we need to help each other and keep reminding them that this is, like, one of our main purposes, actually, is the guardian of the future civilization. That's the way I look at it, at least.
Yes. Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And, like, as much as we can get back to nature, I think Carrie just did from back to nature video about, what's natural, and just everything in our world around us is pushing the unnatural, right? Mm-hmm. These unnatural everything. I just fill in the blank. Everything that's unnatural is pushed, right? Whether it's food, whatever. Yes. And it's like, as much as we can stay to what is natural, if you say God-given, better off we will be. I mean, that is what we were designed to be, right? And it takes a lot of mental capability to do that, to nurture and raise children and be there and be present and be engaged and, deal with all of the things and be their mom and be their mentor and all of their counselor. It takes a lot of mental stamina to do that, day in, day out. And, and we can do it if we're taking care of ourselves. And, you talked about in one of your videos, self-care and self-love, and, just, we have to take care of ourselves, and it's true. And if the mom, we're maybe not the head of the family, but, Lord willing, you have a good husband that's the head of your family, but we're definitely central to it. And I know you see that in Colombia. I mean, definitely the matriarch of the family. And, we can rise or fall a family just based on the mom, and her stability,
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And it's so interesting that all that stuff I was even just talking about, if we just get people to eat properly and sleep better, all that other noise, they're going to stop watching TV because they're going to want to do more productive things. Then maybe get back down to earth and a little bit closer to reality is all I'm saying. And even for me, okay, I'm 40. I just turned 40. 6 months ago, you would ask me, do I want another baby? I'd be like, no way. I was too exhausted. I was too tired. There's no way the last pregnancy was terrible. 2 C-sections. I wish I could have had my babies naturally.
Yeah.
No way. And now I'm even like, you know what? If I do get pregnant again, it will be a blessing. We're not trying, but we're not trying. Do you get what I'm saying?
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And when you feel good enough that you're like, I think I could do that. I think I can handle it. And that's like a good place to be,
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm not dreading it if it happens. Oh, and even I was talking a couple weeks ago because I actually thought I was pregnant because of the timing of when we did the deed. I have an app on my phone to tell me go to days and no go days, right? And so I was like, what if I'm pregnant? So obviously we're going to have a baby. So his answer is not against that. He's like, of course we have a baby. I want to say something. In Colombia, abortion's 100% illegal. And I love that. I think there's like two reasons, like incest and like you or the baby are going to die anyways unless you do that. Like those are the only reasons that otherwise it's illegal. So I love that. So his answer wasn't like, yeah, we'll have the baby. Like that, there's no other option. But he said, this is the most perfect time in our relationship ever to have a baby. And I was so happy that he said that. Like before we were broke, before nothing was correct. Like we had babies in the worst possible circumstances, but we still did it and made our family. So now we're stable, and all the reasons why you shouldn't have a baby don't exist. And I just wanted to say that. So it's very nice.
That's so awesome. Well, I mean, we're all for having babies, and we had our last one at 3 months. You can do it.
That's good to know.
You're way younger than I was then, so you can definitely do it. But so our littlest one is 5 now, and he's just I wish he wasn't our last baby, but he's probably going to be our last baby at this point.
Yeah, I understand. But you guys have 6. That's like incredible. I have 2.
Yes. Yeah, they're awesome. We enjoy all of them so much. So yeah, I don't know. I was thinking of something else, but we got talking about babies, and I don't know. We got way off.
We got way off track. Sorry, that was my interjection of my notes that I took earlier.
If we were eating a proper human diet, right? It does. I think it helps the mom be who she needs to be, right? It helps the men be what they need to be when they're eating enough meat. Their testosterone goes way through the roof. And I just think of like all of these struggles that the young men are having here, in our country, and it's like, I wonder how much is legitly hormones tied to it. And I wonder, in diet, and if they would eat a good amount of meat, like a huge amount of meat, like how we used to eat, would that help just to correct their hormones so they would be more masculine, so they would not be as effeminized? And, like you hear this over and over from different moms, even in conservative circles, like, oh, well, I wish my boys were more, masculine or whatever, but they're just not. They just like to play video games and, whatever, fill in the blank, like just not masculine things. And it's like, well, you just wonder how much is tied to diet, because you see it, with our husbands, right? And they eat more meat. You're like, Superman, so it's, and I have teenage boys, and, they're all eating their meat now, and they're so excited. They're like, they're smoking the meat. They bought a smoker on Craigslist.
Fun.
So they're like smoking it and grilling it, and they're just doing all these different things, and like, they're just having a blast with it. So it's really cool. And I'm so thankful that we figured it out when we did.
Right. Yeah, I understand. And I'm so thankful for people like Dr. Barry who are just out there communicating, because I ignored Dr. Barry for a long time. Like YouTube kept showing it to me. One day I was like, okay, I'll click on it. And I was like, that was the day that changed my life, and changed, because not changed my whole, yes, I don't know how to explain it. It was like a turning point in my health, because now I was willing to listen to him finally, even though YouTube kept showing it to me for a long time. So I'm so happy that he's there doing what he does to help people like us. And then we need to be like little foot soldiers, grassroots, telling other people, hey, stop eating the junk. Just go back to eating meat. That's the food that was put here for us. Eat it.
Yes. And it's so simple. I mean, it has simplified so much. My kids do the same thing. Some fruit, but then, an ice cream. They can eat ice cream. But mainly it's just meat. And so it's like, that makes life so much easier, like as a mom.
So much easier. Oh my God. Now I'm trying to figure out making like all these different like recipes. Just cook the meat or the eggs. Sometimes they want onions and eggs. I'll chop up some onions if we have, but then we end up wasting it. We even bought some onions. We ended up wasting, like they don't want it. They just maybe one time. So yeah.
Life is so much easier.
Oh man, so much easier. So on so many levels.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I would just encourage anybody who's watching tonight, don't forget, go over and subscribe to Aaliyah's channel. And she's awesome. She's so down to earth. She's going to encourage you. You can watch her from day one and making the decision all the way up until now, 7 months in, and just the whole transformation. And I'm so excited to just continue to watch you. Like, I'm so excited to see you like 5 years from now. Like, for a person altogether, you know. So so are we. You know? So it's really exciting.
I can't wait to see you guys 5 years from now, and I better make my way to the U.S. at some point. Can I show you guys a photo though? I have it here prepared. If you want to pop it up, you're gonna say this is not me, but this is me, and I even labeled it fat photo. It's there. It should be at the bottom of the screen. I can't put it on, but let's see. This is me 11 months after Jacob was born.
Wow. Yeah.
And like I said, I could still lose like maybe 20 to 50 more pounds. But this is, I don't know, maybe 215, maybe 220, maybe 225, somewhere around there. Yeah. And that's around the time that I was diagnosed with my thyroid condition. And what's funny is that, I felt terrible. I felt like crap. But I don't remember having digestive issues, and I wasn't eating very many, maybe some vegetables, but not like how I have been in the last several years. The vegetables really did it to me. This is 100% standard American diet. And this is what people normally look like in the US, in the Midwest.
Yes. And this is what they're pushing as it's okay and it's healthy, acceptable. And we just shouldn't, you know, and it's like, okay, well, I mean, we should be compassionate towards each other. Right? We have all gone through different things in our life, but this is an unhealthy state for a person to be. And even if you're happy emotionally, you just had a baby, you're happy, it's not long term. It's not going to be sustainable.
Oh no, I was extremely stressed. My husband and I were having a hard time in our relationship at that time. Everything seemed stressful, but I'm sure now it had a lot to do with what we were eating and not sleeping correctly. And also I think, so I was pregnant, I think, in this photo, but that's not pregnancy. That's just fat. I was like maybe a week pregnant with my daughter or something. Or I was pregnant. I knew I was pregnant, I think, a few weeks after this photo. Anyway, just so you know, so to add to the stress of 11-month-old, maybe a year old, and now I'm pregnant with my second baby. I'm overweight. My thyroid's trashed. All these things, but sure has a lot to do with your diet. 100%.
That's right. And you just feel so powerless because you don't know, you're addicted to the food and you don't know how to get out of that trap. Like, I mean, I had used all the tools in my toolbox. We had done every single different type of diet to do. And it was like, I can't eat any less. You know what I mean? I mean, I could fast for like 5 days straight and not eat, and I wouldn't lose a pound. What in the world? Like, okay, I'm eating like, you know, a salad and tuna fish with nothing on it. I'm exercising like crazy, you know, and it's just like, you know, and you can't live like that. I mean,
it's so also more stressful. Like, I say I lost a lot of weight really fast when I started carnivore, like 30 pounds went and just like melted off, or it got a little bit slower after the 20. But I changed my sleeping. So I want to get my sleep routine back in, because also some of the back pain started coming back a little bit stiffer again. And I'm like, okay, I understand carnivore men say they don't need to sleep as much, but carnivore women probably do. Probably need a good night of sleep on a proper schedule. Oh, the 24-hour live stream. Oh man, I was messed up for days after that.
You look tired at the end of that. We were like, wow, she is. Well, Carrie was looking pretty tired too.
I slept for like 5 hours. I'm like, I was out of there at like about 1 a.m. and then I went to sleep for a couple hours. And I think I was back at like 5 a.m. But again, I thought I might have been pregnant and didn't want to mess anything up also. Sure. But I'm not. I'm not pregnant, people. I found out a week later I'm definitely not. But still, I was thinking I was possibly, and I had to at least get the body some sleep.
Yes. Yeah. You got to take care of yourself. That's
Yeah.
true. Well, that's awesome. Well, it's just been great. I don't know how we are on time, but
Well, I think I hear my kids and my husband's playing football, so they were supposed to be at the park. So I don't know if I have that much more time.
okay. Okay. Yeah. I think we're a little over an hour. So
Yeah, we are. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks I just love meeting you, and I wish you were a little closer than Columbia.
Oh, me too. Texas is definitely the only place I would move back to for sure.
That's what everybody says from Texas, I think. Once a Texan, always a Texan, I think. So
yeah, exactly.
I loved it. I love the conversation, and anytime you're welcome to come on, or we can collab together.
Wow. Yeah.
There's just a great community, I think, for us speaking to moms, because it's just like, we're just regular moms. We're just regular people. And, yeah, we're doing it. Like, we're making it happen in our own way, on our own time, and that's just, I think that should encourage somebody.
I hope it will. I hope it will. And I need to do more before and after videos, or show that photo. I try not to show that photo in thumbnails because that's not really where I started at, but I don't have many fat photos because I didn't want to take many photos of me when I was overweight. But if I was at that point, at one point in my life, and now I'm at this point, and I'm a lot calmer, I'm happier, I can only show those comparisons because I want to reach more people. There's so many people in the US that need help, and I want to help them. Love thy neighbor, right? Love thy neighbor. Let's care about people. Let's be responsible for our fellow human beings.
Yeah, and there's lots of moms and lots of kids out there. And I mean, the moms, pretty much it's in our lap to provide the food and plan out the meals and all of that. So if you're a mom listening to this, I mean, nobody else is going to do it except for you. Chances are your husband might not be the one to do it. You might have to be the one.
Yeah, I mean, in my house, we both cook. He really likes cooking steak now. Now that we're doing this,
awesome.
And he always has cooked because he's Colombian and they cook a lot better here than we do in the US. I'd be like, yeah, let me make dinner. Let's pop something in the oven. Let's pop some pizza in the oven, or let's make some chili. Like all this prepackaged garbage we have in the US. So I've had to learn how to cook.
Yeah.
So he's always cooked, but now he likes cooking. Someone asked if we can put my link in the description. Can I pop it in the chat?
Yep.
Okay, let me see if I sorry. Sorry.
Okay.
I was trying not to have it be talking on this side. Here we go. There you go. It's in the chat. My YouTube channel. And I should put your YouTube channel in the chat. Let me do that next.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's great. And I see Ellie is in here from Nourishment Redacted.
She's a mom.
Also mom, another great channel. I don't know if she's still on here or not, but Ellie, I really appreciate your videos too.
I think we all have stories and we're all going to resonate with somebody, and you never know who that's going to be. And maybe you can help that one person. So keep talking. Keep talking.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was a blessing. I just so much enjoyed our conversation, and
me too.
We get to do it again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Thank you so much for having me.
Yep. Thanks for being here. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.